I almost feel like they're like the modern kids who are like brooding and like writing in their diary, except it's Twitter. They're like, "Dear diary, today Addison was mean to me. I saw her give me a dirty look. Dear diary, today I saw that Bryce was with another thought and she's not even as hot as me. Why does this always happen? XOXO with love." But then they like the next day they're like, "Oh shit, I shouldn't have said that," and they delete their tweets.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Hey weirdos, welcome back to Drinks After Work. It's me.
It's Abby.
It's Shannon. It's us.
It's Drinks After Work. Welcome back.
Freaking Drinks After Work.
If you're new here, do yourself a favor and become a part of the Boston Baddies. Follow us on Instagram. It's at drinksafterwork_. TikTok at drinksafterwork. No underscore. And if you're a girl in the Boston area that's looking for, new places to get drinks after work or new girlfriends, join our private Facebook group. Link in bio.
Link in the hell of the bio.
Yes.
We are coming off of a absolute crazy weekend, Memorial Day. Well, it's Wednesday right now and we're recording.
Yeah, well, it was your first day back at work. Yesterday was mine.
Yeah, I know. It's so rough.
Speak for yourself. I know you had a crazy weekend, but I did not.
Yeah, do you feel rejuvenated? I always wonder, like, when you go away for a nice, relaxing vacation, do you come back and you're like, wow, I feel good? Or no?
I mean, usually I wouldn't really consider my Memorial Day weekend a vacation. I think for me, it was a lot of socializing, and me being the introvert that I am, I was like, damn, I could not talk to anyone for the next week and be fine with it.
So random, but...
Let's hear it.
Okay, so my roommate told me this. It was so interesting. She told me that introverts wake up with a bunch of, like, every morning with a bunch of energy, and every social interaction they have makes them more and more exhausted.
Yeah.
So that, like, if they have a ton of social interactions, by the end of the day, they're just like completely drained, and they're like, I'm so tired, and they need to have like time alone to like rejuvenate. Extroverts wake up every morning tired, and like every social interaction they have like gives them more energy. Like it feeds them life.
Okay, well, I feel like I'm an in-betweener.
You're an in-betweener?
I don't wake up with energy, and I...
You're like, I don't have energy by myself or with people.
Yeah.
I like that. You're a tweenie. Well, in-betweener.
Thanks.
Sorry, I don't know how that just started, but I thought it was interesting. It might not be true.
No,
I don't know.
We love a little fun fact.
A little fun fact. Fact Wednesday.
So, I was in New York with Mystery Man, but Sophia over here was not. She was getting after it in Nashville.
I actually did not go by Sophia in Nashville.
You didn't?
No, I developed
Sophia
a new...
didn't come out?
I developed a new alter ego. So I'm at the bar, and like, if you know me, I hate when like creepy guys like try to hit on you at the bar. I just think it's so annoying. Like, "Ooh, like, where are you from?" I'm like, I don't feel like telling you where I'm from. Like, why do I have to tell you where I'm from? So I was sitting there, and all of a sudden I was like, Alabama. And they were like, what's your name? I was like, Lila Bell. Just like,
no, you didn't.
Yes. And so like me and because there was 25 of us on this trip. So me and all the girls, we all came up with these like random alter egos, and they were all like the double, like, I feel like the Southern girls have like double names. So I was like, hey, my name's Lila Bell, but my friends call me Lila. And I was like, I've never been to such a big city before. I've never seen so many big buildings before. Someone was like, have you ever been to Nashville? I was like, no, golly gee, I've never seen so many big buildings before. People were like, okay. And we ended up meeting. So like on the third day, we went to this bar, and Mike Stud, Johnny Manziel, and like Bob Menery we're all there drinking. So we went up, and we like, all of us, we like, there was like 25 of us. We were like, hey, how's it going? And we all introduced ourselves. And I literally introduced myself to Mike Stud. I didn't realize it was Mike Stud at the time, because I'm just really bad with like faces and stuff. But he was like, oh, like, what's your name? I was like, Lila. And he was like, oh, I'm Mike. I was like, my boyfriend's name is Mike.
Mike and Lila. That's funny.
Classic.
How did he react to that?
Well, later on, one of my friends was talking to him and was like, oh yeah, like my friend Shannen, and he was like, she said her name was Lila, and she was like, oh yeah, she lied. She'll do that. It was so funny though, because we were at the bar and we're all drinking and we hung out. They were with this girl and she was so nice, so we spent like most of the day with her. And
like a random girl
that they were with. They were. She was hanging out with them.
A groupie.
Yeah, I think she's like their friend. They like all live in Arizona or something. But so my friend Kyle, his little sister Courtney, she's like the most energetic, fun person. Like I love her, and she's like literally my hype girl. And she was running around the bar, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so starstruck." She's like, "I'm fangirling right now. I'm fangirling," and I was like, "Oh, like over who? Like
over Mike said?"
Well, I wasn't sure if she was fangirling over like Mike said or over Johnny Manziel, and she was like, over you. And she runs up to them and she's like, my friend's famous, like pointing at me, and she's like, yeah, she has a podcast, she's famous. Pulls up our Instagram. I'm like, Courtney, stop it. Literally pulls up. We have like 2,000 followers, they have like millions of followers. I was like, put it away. She's like, she's famous, like you better follow her, you better hop on the train. I was like literally mortified. I was like, please stop.
Well, I didn't notice any new followers by the name of Mike or Bob or what other guy's name?
Johnny. I know.
So I don't think it worked.
I don't think that they were
impressed with our following.
I don't know.
But I am.
But she like sent them the link. She was like, download it right now. Like download the, like she sent them some link to like, I don't even know. It was the funniest thing in the world. I was literally in tears. I was like, please stop.
I love that. We love a supportive sister.
We do. But yeah, Nashville, hell of a place. We ended up leaving that bar and like a few of us went to dinner. We ended up going to like the nicest steak. It was called like Bourbon Steakhouse or something. It's like in a high-rise building overlooking the entire city. Michael shows up wearing cowboy boots and cut off like jean shorts.
They let him in?
They let him in. And they were like, oh yeah, Nashville's like casual, because like if you showed up to like Del Frisco's in Boston wearing cowboy boots and cut off jeans, I don't think that they would let you inside. But
I mean, Nashville is its own country, I feel.
Yeah, just anything goes. It was insane. It was crazy.
Oh man. Well, I'm glad you had a good time, but I'm glad that you're back. We need to get back in our routine.
Yes.
Speaking of which, last week was absolutely unreal. If you guys haven't yet watched or listened, episode 25 with Maggie McDonald dropped last week, and it was the most downloaded episode in Big Night Media history.
Yeah.
So freaking cheers to that, bitch.
Yeah, cheers to Maggie. She was awesome.
Cheers to Maggie. It was a hell of an episode. We ended up charting number 49 on Apple charts, which is the best score. I don't know what they call it, score chart that we've ever gotten.
It was the best score we've ever gotten.
The best score. So thank you everyone that listened. We really do appreciate everyone's support and feedback. It all gets taken into consideration.
Yes. No, it's honestly so helpful when you guys give us like any sort of like good feedback, constructive criticism when we have guests on, because it's a lot harder than it looks to interview someone. Like I feel like it's a skill. You know what I mean?
We've only had a couple guests on. We've only done a couple interviews, and we're a work in progress with the interviewing.
It's a skill.
But you know, practice. What is this? No, practice makes progress.
Practice makes
yes, practice
something
makes
like that.
Progress. So thank you guys again. Absolutely unreal. So let's keep the train rolling.
Let's keep the train rolling.
Let's dive into episode 26. Let's dive into Drunk Deets.
Woo! All right. What we got?
So let's start off with some TikTok drama. I know it's everyone's favorite kind of drama.
I know. I feel like when we put that poll up on Instagram, we were like, do you guys like TikTok drama? It was very 50-50. Like half the people were like, honestly, fuck no. And the other half were like, yeah, it's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, but I was honestly surprised by like how many people like admitted that they like it. It was more than I thought. But okay. So if you are familiar with the TikTok world, there are these two individuals, Addison Rae and Bryce Hall, kind of, you know, the up and coming stars, new influencers. They're famous, whatever. They used to date, and back in March they broke up, and pretty much up until now it was radio silence from Bryce Hall. Like, he did not speak up about the breakup. It was really only kind of Addison a little bit talking, and it's not Hosey, it's Josie.
Yes,
It's
it
Josie.
definitely is not Hosey, and it definitely is Josie.
Josie
Can confirm. You and Hosey, you said that yesterday when you were at my apartment. You were like, yeah, and then Hosey. I was like, it's Josie.
you're just gonna have. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's fine. We can move on. We can forgive and forget.
Thank you. Okay, so basically, and I thought this was insane. The whole what is Bryce Hall part of that hype house?
Sway.
Is it the Sway Boys?
I think they're done, but they were. I feel like all those houses lasted 20 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if they're still all living together, but the Sway Boys are still very much together because they have a TV channel. It's not even a TV channel. It's an IGTV channel, and it's called Sway Life. It's literally a TV show that premieres full-on episodes on Instagram of the Sway Boys.
And I'm not subscribed. Wow. That's the first thing that I'm doing when I'm going home.
No, please
subscribing to the Sway Life.
Yeah, it's called Sway Life.
No.
But so... no. Friends don't let friends follow the Sway Boys. Anyways, Bryce, I should say, he finally spoke up and told his side of the breakup. So in an episode of Sway Life, and basically I'd call myself, I'd be a hypocrite if I said that we don't clickbait, because we definitely do. But the caption for the episode was, "Want to know what really happened with Bryce's relationship with Lana? The truth will shock you." Ew, come on. Be more clickbaity.
I know, but kind of would click on that in a second if I saw it. You know what I mean? If you see that title, you're like, oh, hell yeah.
I know. Well, yeah. So that was the caption. And basically in the episode, he tells his story of what happened back in April. So basically in April, again, this is a YouTuber, Jake Paul. And I don't know do you know who Ben Askren is? Me neither. But I guess Jake Paul and Ben Askren did a fight in Atlanta, and it was this whole big thing. Everyone from all across the country flew in to watch this fight. Mm-hmm. And so Bryce and Addison were both attending this fight. And I guess what he says in the episode is that back in April, before the fight, they were kind of they were on good terms. They were talking, they were civil, and they were hanging out. And the plan was that they were going to meet up in Atlanta and hang out, get dinner, whatever, before the fight. And so Addison flies in a week early, before the flight. So she's in Atlanta a whole week early. And Bryce doesn't go early. He just goes right before the fight. And right. I guess on the day of the fight is when Bryce and I don't think we've actually talked about this, but we might have. But Addison Rae and Jack Harlow, did you heard about that? Mm-hmm. How there's allegedly they're hooking up. But I guess on the day of the fight, Bryce found out about that, and he went straight to Twitter and he tweeted downgrade, and then he tweeted, "I'm about to explode, man." And obviously he deleted them instantly.
It's also funny that he says downgrade. I feel like that might not be true, but go on.
I honestly couldn't tell you what Jack Harlow looks like.
Better.
You think better looking than Bryce? Or he probably has more going for him than Bryce.
Yeah.
No, so it's not about appearance. It's more so just person.
No. I just feel like Bryce, the guy that takes to Twitter and is kind of a noob on the internet every chance he gets. I mean, don't get me wrong. I kind of love that he's the bad boy of TikTok, but I don't think I would date him.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so basically on the episode on Sway Life, he is basically just saying how he admitted to tweeting those tweets out of pure anger, and he admitted that he wasn't thinking thinking in the slightest. And basically he made claims that everything was going great at the time, right before the fight, and that he believed that they were getting back together, and that he feels that she led him on,
and he's betrayed, and he's such a good boy, and he came from a good old Christian Baptist family, and how could this happen to him?
So basically it's just a whole bunch of he said, she said. I guess Addison commented on the IGTV episode and said the truth ? This is very one-sided. And then he tweeted, she tweeted double standards, which is come on, girl. You left the comment, you don't need to tweet about it. And then obviously because Bryce Hall is petty, he tweeted right after that, calm down.
Yeah.
And that's the tea. And I'm just this is so, why is this news?
No, but you didn't, but then how did Josie come into it?
Oh, I don't know.
Because isn't there rumors that Josie and Bryce Hall?
Oh, Bryce Hall. Yeah. So I guess that's where it's all one-sided. So it's no, you were hooking up with Hosey and I was hooking up with Jack Harlow. You're Josie. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Just can't stop. So I guess like he's basically trying to like call her out and be like, she did this, she did that.
Hypocrite.
But he actually, hasn't been confirmed, allegedly cheated on her with Josie Canseco. Yeah. Okay.
But gotcha. And it's such like I feel like it's such an awkward like time when it's like you're not officially back together. So it's like, was it cheating? Was it not? Like, I feel like they both were in the wrong. Like, they probably both let each other on. They were both probably talking to each other while sleeping with other people.
I mean, in the end of the day, I think the root of like the main issue here is that who the hell is letting these children have access to smartphones that have Twitter on them, because they have no idea, like they don't know how to process things. Like they hear information and they instantly are like, oh my God, I'm gonna tweet, like angry tweet and like subtweet. I'm like, I feel like I would do that if I was 13. Exactly. It's like, I feel like if you're an adult, you hear information and you're like, okay, let me like sleep on it. Let me think about what I want to say back and like craft a clever response. But instead they're just like, hashtag downgrade, hashtag disgusting, hashtag cheater. And it's like, no, like maybe just don't do that. But I guess
completely agree.
But maybe unless they're doing that on purpose and that's what's getting them the...
I mean, he deleted the tweet, so clearly he I feel like regretted it. But he forgets that he has a whole army that probably has post notifications on and they screenshot everything. So
I almost feel like they're like the modern like kids who are like brooding and like writing in their diary, except it's Twitter. They're like, dear diary, today Addison was mean to me. I saw her give me a dirty look. Dear diary, today I saw that Bryce was with another thought and she's not even as hot as me. Why does this always happen? XO with love. But then they like the next day they're like, oh shit, I shouldn't have said that, and they delete their tweets.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
No, I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Drunk deed number 2.
Yeah. So this one is, I still feel like I'm being punked. I'm like waiting for someone to be like, just kidding.
I know.
Amara Maple, aka Lana Rhodes, depending on what channel you watch her on, is pregnant.
I know. That is crazy.
My mind is blown.
And Abby shows up to my place yesterday and she walks the door. I haven't seen her all weekend because we didn't spend Memorial Day together. I thought maybe we'd like hang out, get to know each other again. And she's like, did you hear the news? And I was like, no. And she was like, she's pregnant. I was like, who? We were like, Lana Rhodes. Like the first thing you didn't even say hi. But it was pretty shocking.
I mean, I found out literally like as I was walking into the elevator to your apartment.
Okay.
Like I literally found out just then.
So Lana Rhodes, or Amara, she is an former adult film entertainer turned YouTube star turned like Instagram influencer.
We love her, though.
Podcaster who kind of turned her life around a little bit, and she kind of got away from the industry she used to be in and is now really focused on the podcast she has with her friends, YouTube videos, everything like that. She has been on and off dating Mike Malak for the past, I think that's how you say his last name. I don't know. No idea. Hey, Big Mike, for the past year and a half-ish, like very, very on and off. But she like clearly always fighting, but she was clearly very in love with him. I think that there's only so much you can know from a relationship from the outside in, but the way it always sounded was, she met him, she was ready to, get married, settle down. She wanted to move in together. Mike was very much like, hey, listen, I'm not ready for that yet. I want to continue being single, going out with the boys, producing content. Like he wasn't ready for, like she wants a very, settle down, have children, live in a big house with a white picket fence.
I don't even think he wanted to be single necessarily. I think he wanted to be with her, but just didn't want the pressure. Like she was like trying to rush everything. Yes. And she's younger than us.
So she talks about it and she's like, I got into this, she had a really hard life. She was like stripping when she was in high school. She went to jail when she was in high school. She gets into the porn industry. She had a really hard time. So I think eventually when she met someone that she loved, she was like, I'm ready to be done. Like I'm ready to, continue on with like my YouTube channel and podcast or whatever, but kind of get out of the public eye and like have a normal life. And Mike, like he struggled with, like drugs. Like he was a heroin addict and recovered from that. And this is like all through his 20s that happened. So he didn't really get into the public eye until his 30s. So I think in his mind, he's like, I'm just kind of getting started. I'm not ready to, have kids and be married and everything like that yet. So I think when they dated, like you said, Abby, I agree. I think he would have continued dating her, but I think she was always pressuring him, like, when are you going to move in? When are you going to propose to me? When are we getting married? And it was like constant. And that's like the main reason why they ended up breaking up.
Yeah, I know. And it's very interesting because I did the math and so the due date is January 13th, which I'm pretty sure means it's going to be a Capricorn, which is like meh. But that means that she must have gotten pregnant in like April. Because she literally just announced this week, and she announced it on Instagram with a picture of the ultrasound, and you can see her name on it. It says Amara Maple with her birthday. Like, it's not Photoshop. I mean, it could be Photoshop, but it's definitely not.
Yeah, I don't know why that'd be like a kind of a crazy move.
That would be not
imagine.
Okay. But like she posted on Instagram the picture of the ultrasound, and it was like really aesthetically pleasing picture. And she wrote like, "This is the announcement" with like a heart for the caption. And then shortly after, Mike tweets, "Does anyone have a contact at the Maury show? No big deal."
So he's basically saying like he's saying he doesn't know who the father is.
I mean, they were there. I mean, if anyone watches his YouTube vlogs, which I do, I watch them weekly. I thoroughly enjoy them, and I primarily watch them because she was in them. But
yeah, no, I loved them. Like, they were so fun. Like, their vlogs together, I genuinely loved.
But I still watched even after they broke up and she was no longer in them. But what he says in his vlogs is that they've always kept in contact.
Yeah,
like they've always been talking. And he was like, yeah, like we're friends, like we hang out, like we're just not dating. So I'm like, all right, well, they were definitely sleeping together like while they were broken up. But like I bet there's a small chance that like maybe she doesn't know who the father is.
I don't know. But there's just another part of me that's like, would she be so eager to announce it and be like so excited about it? Because she's only like 8 to 10 weeks in, like pretty early. So like, would she be so excited if it wasn't his? Because she like, loves him, you know what I mean? Right. Or maybe she just wants to be a mom. I honestly don't know. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right. And then our last drunk D, this is a lot less pop culture-y and a lot more just like kind of wild. So
close to home,
some local news. A URI student is actually accused of throwing a water bottle at NBA player Kyrie Irving during Sunday night's game, which was game 4 Celtics versus Brooklyn Nets. So I guess this guy Cole Buckley is 21 years old and he's from Braintree, and he threw a water bottle at Kyrie. And he ends up like getting arrested and charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Is that like correct? Like, how can that be the case?
I know the guy, poor kid, 21 years old. He's got to be like a junior.
He's definitely drinking. He's just like completely hammered. 100%. He's like, I'm just gonna throw this water bottle at Kyrie. Like, funny joke.
Honestly, like. I mean, like, I don't condone it, but like I'm also not
a water bottle. Like, I would get if it was like a glass bottle. Like, sure, that could hurt somebody, but a plastic water bottle, that is not a deadly, a dangerous weapon.
But he's facing 10 years in prison and a potential $5,000 fine.
That's insane.
But he appeared in court today, Wednesday, and he pleaded not guilty. So he paid $500 bail, and he'll be back in court on August. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think 10 years in prison is kind of a bit excessive.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously not going to get 10 years. But you and I were talking about this earlier where you were like, imagine, because it's very unlikely. Like, I feel like a lot of it is like a scare tactic. There's no way he gets 10 years in prison. But imagine going the whole summer, having that hanging over your head.
Yeah. Like he has to wait until August not knowing what his fate is.
Right.
That would kill me.
When he was just doing like a silly prank, just like throwing a water bottle. I think that's insane.
I mean, he definitely could have maybe thrown the water bottle with passion, like hate passion. But
true. Like, did he spike it? Was it like a lob? Like
they said it grazed his head. So either he has bad aim or he didn't try to hit him too much. I have no idea. I wasn't there.
Wait, the funniest part is, I guess, when they took him away, I think I don't remember exactly what he said. He said something like, Kyrie's a bitch or something when they were arresting him.
I know.
Like, hilarious.
I know. Well, I guess you could only read his lips. Like, you can actually hear him say it, but you could read his lips saying, like, yeah, he's a bitch. But, like, the only reason he got caught is because one of the, like, security guards that work for, like, the TD Garden, like, saw it and, like, they did his job. Like, the guy did his job and, like, pulled him. But I'm like, bro, come on. Like, just look the other way.
I know. Just look the other way.
Look the other way.
Well, he probably didn't know the kid was going to get 10 years.
I know. Imagine having that guilt as that person. Like, you just ruined a 21-year-old's life. Like, how do you feel? Are you happy?
He's in prison, and they're like, "What are you in here for?" He's like, "Oh, I threw a water bottle. What are you in here for?" He's like, "Oh,
murder,
battery, assault." He's like, "Oh, I threw a water bottle at an NBA player." What the fuck?
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh God, I hope it turns out well for him. I really do.
Okay, so obviously, like we've been talking about this past weekend, we were in Nashville, right?
You.
So, yeah, well, me and
your friends,
my posse, our friends were in Nashville. And Abby didn't come because she wanted to have a little getaway with her man, which is whatever. It's fine. I'm over it. It's okay. I
was meeting the extended family. Give me a break.
She was meeting the extended family, which is pretty cool. I would have done the same thing if I was meeting the family.
Thank you.
I would have. Okay, I get it. We were fighting before this episode a little bit, but it's okay.
We were?
Like a little bit. I wouldn't cheers you.
Oh yeah, you were just being sassy for no reason. But anyways, go on about your wonderful weekend in Nashville, please.
Okay, so we there was a bunch of us there, and one of our friends, he actually moved to Nashville like 10 months ago or something. Mm-hmm. He's friends with me and Caitlin, who we reference all the time, one of my closest friends. So we got dinner with him one night. So we do this thing where whenever we go on trips with large groups of people and we know we're going to be like drinking all weekend, me and my friend Caitlin always stay an extra day because I get really, really bad anxiety. We've talked about this on previous episodes, like coming back from New Orleans. Like I literally had my first ever panic attack in the plane because I was just like such a crazy weekend. I was like not feeling good, eating shitty food, drinking whatever. And in the plane I was like crying. So don't do that anymore. I don't do that anymore. So we stayed an extra day and we ended up meeting up with our friend. We'll call him Johnny.
Okay.
Johnny. So we met up with Johnny and we went to dinner and grabbed drinks with him. And we were just like asking him how he liked Nashville. And we were like, do you like any girls? Like, do you have any crushes? Ooh. So he was like, I'm not seeing anyone, but he was like, you guys have to help me out. Like, here's my situation. So he moves to Nashville and he meets this girl. I think she's like in their friend group. He meets her. He instantly realizes that he really likes her. But what he finds out really soon into their friendship is that she is a serial dater. So she's like, I've always had like a 3-year relationship, 2-year relationship, 5-year relationship. And in my head, I was
never
like,
single.
Mm-hmm. And in my head, I was like, same. Red flag, but same.
As you're wearing a red shirt.
Red flag. I am the red flag. Yeah. But he was like, she's a serial dater. And her biggest thing was she was like, when I moved to Nashville, I want to stay single for a while and like truly be single for the first time in my life.
Fair.
Right? She's like, I've always been in relationships since high school. So he's like, okay, I'm over here and I'm like in love with this girl. And she's basically telling me like, I really want to value this time being single, going on dates, meeting guys, going out with my girlfriends, not being in a relationship. So he's like, I want to respect that. And I want to respect the fact that she doesn't want anything more. So this whole time he's like, going out with her friends, being a really good friend, hanging out with her. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, at this point it's been like a year. So he's like, I feel like maybe it's the time is starting to come when like I would be in the clear to start making a move. But he's like, what do I do? Because like he's like, I'm very friend zoned, and he's like, and I don't know if like, he's like, it's not that she's ever like explicitly told me she's not interested in me.
She just
he's
wasn't.
Like, we've just never explored that or ever gone there. So he's like, how do I get out of the friend zone? I guess in a sense, and we were talking about this.
Yeah.
And I feel like happens to so many guys and they really don't know what to do.
Yeah. And I love that he actually asked you guys for advice because I feel like a lot of guys just like keep quiet and just like stay miserable and they just like
don't know what to do.
They hope and pray that like she's going to make a move or like that.
That she's going to wake up one day and realize that she loves him.
And that's just like not realistic. And so guys just silently suffer. But I love that he actually asked you guys for advice. And I feel like, I mean, I've never been friend zone. Have you?
Maybe. I feel like I might have. It's never been with like a friend that like was like a long-term friend, but there's definitely been guys in my life that we became like fast friends. Maybe there was like a part of me that like had a thing for him, but I didn't know if he felt the same way back.
Yeah.
like years ago. So yeah, I definitely think it happens a lot less to girls.
Yeah.
Than it does to guys, just because I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're a girl and like you were to, I mean, it sucks to say this, but if you feel like you were a relatively attractive girl and you're going to pull a move on a guy, he's probably gonna be like, all right.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't really go the same the other way around. I know.
It sucks to say, but I feel like it's true. But I feel like even though like we don't have personal experience maybe being friend zoned, I think we have a lot to offer.
Yeah.
For advice.
Exactly. And I feel like it's like from a girl's point of view, we can kind of, I guess, identify like what it is that's going wrong and like maybe some tips on like what to do. So first off, we were talking about it and we were going to say, you know, why do you think, I guess from your experience, Abby, like from guys that you've talked to, why do you think it is that guys get friend zoned in the first place? Like, what are they doing wrong?
I mean, there's a lot of
there's so much.
Where do I begin? I feel like all we do is like shit on guys in this podcast, and like we're trying to help the guys out this time, but I might shit on you in the process. So
they're not like bad things.
No, they're not bad.
Like you're probably like a nice person. I feel like it's just like a lot of guys like struggle with like how to like balance being nice but still get the girl to realize they like him.
I think like if you're in the friend zone, you need to ask yourself how available you are. Mm-hmm. Like, are you always there? If she calls you at 2 a.m., are you there? Mm-hmm. Does she like, I don't know. Like, I really do believe that absence makes the heart grow fonder. Mm-hmm. I think it's like cliche, but I think if you, and it's not even like ghosting, but like if you aren't always available, she's going to wonder. Yeah. Like what you're doing, who you're with.
Yeah. So basically, like if you're always there, like you're showing up with a coffee every single morning, you're offering to, you know, give her a ride, to do her homework, to do this, to that, to the point where you're almost like a little puppy dog and you're just following her around. Yeah. You're like, I'll do whatever you need. And she's going to get so comfortable. She's going to think
you're a bitch boy.
And she's going to be like, oh, he's such a cutie. He's, you know, such a good friend. Cute. Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're not too available, there's also just the like straight up, you're just not her type, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like we need to preface, like there's like two types of like being in the friend zone. I feel like there's like the guy who has feelings for his friend, that's a girl, and he hasn't made his feelings and intentions clear. So she has no idea. Like she has no idea how they feel, and he hasn't made a move, so she has no idea. So there's like the unknown friend zone. But then there's like the other type of friend zone where it's like you've made a move, you've tried, you've discussed it, and she's just not interested.
She's not interested.
And then if that's the case, then
we can
need to respect that.
And you need to move on.
We can't help you. Yeah, exactly. We don't condone, like you need to respect.
That's creepy as hell.
Yeah. And
we're not condoning you being a little creepy perv. Right. If you've made a move on a girl and she's not interested, you need to just move the hell on.
Yeah. So we're talking about the guys that they like a girl and the girl has no idea. So,
and they don't know how she feels about them.
Right. And so you could just not be her type, which is totally fine.
Yeah, like maybe she typically goes after like the bad boy, and maybe you're like the nice boy with like the button up on or something. Yeah. As I look at Peter who's wearing a button up.
Peter.
I just was not a dig on you.
Yikes.
I don't think it gets button ups.
Hey, you're someone's type, you know? But I think like even like bad boy versus nice girl, there could be the girl that, you know, likes freaking guys in finance, or there could be the girl that only dates athletes, like, or like the girl that only dates nerds, or only dates like skater boys, or only dates like there's so
maybe
many,
like you just don't initially come to mind as like the type of guy that she would typically date.
Right
Because I feel like girls get weird like that. Like they get stuck into certain types where they're like, I only date brunettes, or I only date guys like this or like that. Like that.
But not even like looks wise. I feel like it's like personality. Because I feel like if you were to like sit down and reflect on everyone that you've talked to and or dated, they might not like appearance wise be the same, but there's probably similar traits,
right?
Or like patterns that are there in common. So you just might not be her type, or she might just not feel attraction or chemistry to you,
right?
But that's because you haven't given her the chance to.
Yeah, so like I feel like number 3 is she doesn't feel chemistry between you. Maybe there's not like a very obvious attraction. Like, you know, when you meet someone and sparks are flying and instantly it's like, all right, there's something there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not the case. Maybe you feel like you're attracted to her. Maybe you feel like there's some chemistry, but she just not that she doesn't feel that way, but she's not acting like she feels that way. Like those sparks haven't been realized yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think number 4, and this I feel like is actually decently common, is you haven't shown any romantic interest in her. You haven't made a move. It's very, platonic. You are scared to keep eye contact for more than 2 seconds because you don't want to come off as creepy, which is good. But you're just like, she has no way of knowing that you feel this way about her because you've never even put yourself out there. And I feel like this one is so common for guys who are terrified of, making a move on a girl that they like and having her reject them and having it completely ruin their friendship. Like, especially if you've been friends with someone for years and years, you're like, I don't want to lose them as a friend, so I don't want to make the move in the first place.
Yeah, I feel like it's so easy for guys to like walk up to a girl at a bar and walk up to a complete stranger, ask for her number, and she'd be like, ew, no, get away. And they're like, all right, cool, on to the next. But if it's like a girl that they generally like, I feel like guys are like so hesitant to they're scared and they're hesitant to show like their like soft, emotional, feminine side, because all guys, like, and same with girls, everyone has masculine and feminine energy, some more than others, but like they don't want to show that feminine side. They don't want to show that they care and that they like her and whatever.
Right.
Because they don't want to like come off as like a freaking, what is it? I almost said pimp, a simp. They don't
a pimp. They don't want to come off as either.
Yeah, you don't want to come off as a simp or a pimp, but they don't want to come off as a simp.
Wait, I love that. Don't come off as a simp or a pimp.
Yeah, no, literally.
Be somewhere in between.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, guys, you know the drill. Our presenting sponsor is none other than Manscaped. So it's 2021 and the clubs in Massachusetts are finally opening back up. And if you are a man and you're not taking care of yourself, don't even think about stepping foot in the Grand.
No, you should be groomed head to toe if you're going to make an appearance back in the clubs. Yes. And while you're at it, while you're grooming from head to toe with all the lovely Manscaped products, pick up their refined cologne signature scent by Manscaped. This stuff is legit and it will complete your grooming game. It will have you smelling like royalty. All the Boston baddies will flock to you at the club and you won't be able to get the ladies off you.
Yes, absolutely. Be the hottest smelling dude at the club. Go to manscaped.com. Shop their wide variety of products. They have a ton of stuff there, guys. It can get you groomed from head to toe. They have signature scents. They have stuff for your nose hairs, which please, if you're listening to this, take care of the nose hairs. Whatever your problems is, they should be able to help you guys out with it. So head over there now. Use code BIGNIGHT for 20% off and
free shipping.
Free shipping. Thank you, Manscaped. It's true, though. I feel like those are, in my mind, at least the top 4. Obviously, like we said, there could be like 39,000 others, but those are the ones that kind of come to mind as the most common. Okay, so then we wanted to, I guess, share some advice for, that could help you out with getting out of the friend zone. And we're going to preface this because we're not going to give you advice on like how to make a move on a girl or what to say or like how to get her to date you because, again,
it's very situational.
It's very situational. Like you could be friends with someone for 10 years and there could be a lot of moving parts and we're not going to be like, oh, just go up to her and kiss her because, well, don't do that. But also, like we said before, there are some situations in which no matter what you do, you could be the smoothest talking, coolest, nicest, most fun guy out there. But there are some situations where she's just not into you and she doesn't want to date you and that's okay. So we're not going to give you tips as to how to get out of the friend zone. I think what we're going to do is we're going to help you try to figure out
if there's potential.
If there is potential. So we're going to give you guys some ideas of things to do that can kind of test if I do these things and, she's starting to act a little different or starting to act a little more flirty with me. Okay, maybe there's potential there. If she doesn't give a shit and she doesn't acknowledge it and it doesn't matter to her, there's probably a large chance that she's not into you at all and there's really nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really important. Like Shannen, preface this a little bit, but definitely we don't condone making a move out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Listen to what we're about to tell you guys and figure out a tip that's going to work for you. You don't have to try all of them. You can try one of them. You can try some of them. You can try none of them. But these are just some ways for you guys to figure out if you want to make a move.
Right. Without without actually making one.
Right.
Like, not like if you're scared, like, I don't want to make a move out of nowhere because it might ruin our friendship. Like, yes, don't do that. Like, try these first and then let it lead to that. So what do we got first?
Okay, let's dive in. Get your pen and paper ready. Okay, first tip. Peter, do you have your pen and paper ready?
It's ready.
It's ready.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
First tip. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. Okay.
You go.
Okay.
You go.
Oh, are you making up for being sassy earlier?
I will.
Okay. All right. So this is, okay, we don't normally condone this because I think like if you're like this is trying to get out of the friend zone, but in a relationship, we don't condone this, but go hot and cold. Mm-hmm. You don't want to be on all the time. If you leave a burner on all the time in your house, you're going to burn your house down. Okay. That's just not, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean, I guess you're right.
I feel like eventually
Spoken
you're
like a girl who has some experience.
So go hot and cold, you know, be less interested.
Yes.
Make yourself scarce. Like you don't want to always show interest because she's going to take that for granted.
Yes.
And when you distance yourself a tiny bit, when you go to the cold side, she's either gonna notice and be like, like I wonder where he is, or B, she's not gonna notice. And if she doesn't notice that you're being cold and distant,
she might not care.
Then she might not care, and she doesn't care. So that's a sign that, you know, you might be in the friend zone.
This one is so huge because when you are in that friend zone, likely you're already doing things like you're doing sweet things for her. You're always there. You're the one picking up her calls when she gets into a fight with her ex-boyfriend, or when she gets into a fight with her friend, like you're the one on the end of the phone, like giving her that pep talk. You're that nice guy. You're giving her a ride to the airport. You're doing all those sweet things. So she is likely, again, taking those for granted and in her head thinking like, oh my gosh, this is my friend. He's so great. He's so sweet to me, whatever. If all of a sudden, and we're not saying like, you know, block her number and never talk to her again. We're saying if you all of a sudden, you know, maybe
be busy.
You get a little busy, or maybe you are just like out with the boys a lot and you're not really like having time to pick up the phone anymore. You're not texting her first, you're letting her text you first. She's going to start wondering where you are and
who you're with.
This is why Abby said it's like kind of toxic advice, because we as girls hate when guys do this to us, but it does work, which is why we're going to give it as advice because we're playing both sides here. Yep. So when a girl's talking to a guy and he goes hot and cold, like in a romantic relationship, like it's going to piss her off, but she's going to be obsessed with that guy. She's going to be like, I don't understand. 1 second he's calling me beautiful. The next second he's not answering my calls for 3 days. What did I do? Does he like me? Does he not like me? She's going to go crazy. In this situation, what you're trying to do is you're kind of almost create that effect, except obviously you haven't been showing romantic feelings to that point. You've been showing friend feelings. But if all of a sudden you kind of distance yourself, you don't answer her for a few days, you're not really like doing those sweet things, you're not offering to, you know, give her a ride to the game or to do this or do that, she's going to start wondering like, oh my gosh, wait, like where is he? And she's going to be like, wait, why do I care so much? Why do I care where he is? Why is this bothering me? And maybe it'll help her realize like, okay, there could be something there.
Right. You need to give her the space and the time to actually sit and reflect with her thoughts and feelings.
Exactly.
Because if you're always up her ass and always doing sweet things, you know, like I said, absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you're not constantly doing all of those things, she's either going to miss you or she's not. Yeah.
And she's going to, like, if you're constantly doing those things, she's not going to think she needs to date you because she's like, oh, I don't need to date him and he's just doing these things anyways. All of a sudden you're gone and she's like, oh my gosh, now I have no one. Do I like actually think of him differently? So that's a big one. All right, next.
Okay, next. Create some competition. Again, this can come off as toxic, but I think if you do it tastefully, you know, it will be very evident in whether or not she gives a shit about you.
Yes.
And I can speak to this because it worked. For me.
It did. I remember the moment when this worked for you.
Literally, this was before Mystery Man and I started dating. We were like talking, like we both knew that we were interested in each other, but this was before we even went on our first date.
But I feel like you guys were in the same friend group and people would joke and be like, oh, is he ever gonna take Abby on a joke? And it was more like silly and playful, and it didn't feel like there was any feelings there until this happened.
Yeah, so it was, like I said, it was before we went on our first date, because if it happened after, I probably would have killed him. But you were having a party at your house, and like I said, it was already known that we were interested, but nothing had happened. And I like look over and I see him like talking to this girl, and like she's not in our friend group because then I would have killed her. But he was talking to this girl, flirting with her, and I was upset. And I was like, wait, why am I upset? And I literally like pulled Shannen aside, and I was like, I was pissed.
You were so mad. You were like, why is he talking to this girl? This is insane. Like, she's like freaking out. And I was like, why do you care so much? And you were like, oh.
I know.
You were like, maybe I really like him. And I feel like that was like the turning point.
It was like in my head in that moment when I realized that like I didn't have him in the bag, and like that he like has other options, and that like I wasn't, you know, the first one on his mind. And like at the time, like I was like, oh wait, I don't like this.
Yeah.
I want him to be mine. I don't like this.
Exactly. And again, this keyword is tasteful, because you also don't want to be that guy that all of a sudden is like, oh my God, just got off the phone with Hillary. Now Jennifer's calling me. Oh, what's up, baby? Like, yeah, don't be like obvious about it, because she's going to be like, all right, dude, I know what you're doing. We're not stupid. But if you can
like if you like casually bring up like, oh, like look at this girl that I just matched with on Hinge. Like, isn't she so hot or something? If you do something like low key and casual.
And even leave some mystery.
Yeah, leave a little mystery.
Like we always say, when you want to make a guy jealous, don't be like posting Snapchat stories till 3 a.m. with every single person that you're with and everything you're doing. Take a picture of yourself, like a blurry picture, like at the pregame, and then go dark for the rest of the night. He's gonna be like, where was she? So like maybe like you show up and everyone's like, yo, where were you last night? And you're like, oh, like I was just, you know, at dinner like with a friend. And they're like, oh, is it a girl? And you're just kind of like, yeah, and like just kind of playing it off.
Yeah.
If she has any sort of interest in you, stuff like that, like doing things like that will start to make her be like, well, what the hell? Like, who is he talking to? Like, who is she? And just dropping little teeny fragments, little gems here and there. And then, you know, when you're at a party setting, maybe you're talking to other girls and you're being a little flirty and you're not showing her the attention that you normally show her. If there is anything there, like she is going to start reacting to that, whether she gets pissed at you and starts acting jealous, or maybe she starts acting more flirty because she's trying to like compete for your attention. It's going to be pretty obvious if it's bothering her when you do this.
I did neither of the above. All I did was bitch to Shannen and Michael, and I was like, we need to set something up immediately.
Yeah, and then we set them up on a double date.
Yeah,
and the rest is history. Okay, the next one. This is actually, I thought was very interesting. We talked about this. So you are going to get them to invest. And this is what we call the Ben Franklin effect. I kept calling it the Albert Einstein effect, but it's not. It's definitely the Ben Franklin effect.
You're like, who's that old guy?
I was like, who is he? Albert? Al? You're like, no.
Ben Franklin. Okay.
So for those of you that don't know, the Ben Franklin effect, it's basically, so we have this common misconception as humans that if someone is constantly doing nice things, so if I'm constantly doing nice things for someone else, that they're going to realize that they like me or that they love you, which could be the case. Like that does work sometimes. But this is almost reversing the roles. You're getting someone else to do things for you. And that's actually going to, you know, can make them realize that they have feelings for you or that they like you in some sort of a capacity.
Right. And I think like to put this into like specifically a guy being friend zone, men want to feel not even wanted, but needed. Like it's in their like natural whatever to want to be needed. Like literally like, oh, can you open this jar? I can't do it. Oh, can you reach this? I can't reach. Like, oh, can you change my flat tire? Like men want to feel wanted and needed. And when they don't, like, I feel like it's like common in marriages, like a lot, like why a lot of men in marriages, like they're in an unhappy marriage and they end up cheating because they feel like they're not wanted or needed by their wife. And like that's what a lot of people make the mistake of. Like the girl will bend over backwards for her man, but she doesn't like expect the same in return. So when you make someone do something for you, it clicks in their head like, oh, like
I'm wanted,
I'm needed, and they realize that they actually like you.
Right. And I feel like girls kind of have, like you said, girls can have this down. Girls are like, can you do this for me? Can you open this for me? Can you reach that for me? But it's actually interesting because sometimes it can work in reverse. So I guess psychologically in your brain, when you do a favor for someone or you do something nice for someone, your brain is almost telling you, okay, you just did something really sweet for that person. You must like them. Like there must be a reason why you did that for them.
And these are Ben Franklin's words, not ours.
And the more like favors or things that you do for someone,
the more you mean to them.
The more that you are going to keep doing them. Because like in your brain is psychologically telling yourself, okay, you like this person. You're going to do this again. You're going to keep doing nice things. So basically you're not going to be like, hey, go pick me up an Armani suit and do XYZ. But little teeny things like, hey, could you pick me up on the way there? Could you be the person that grabs me from the airport? If you can like make her feel like she's the person that like is needed and you need her to be the person to pick you up, not only is it going to make her feel like, wow, like, do I like this guy? Because I keep doing all these things for him and like I keep being there. It's also going to make her in a weird way feel validated. Like, wow, he wants me to be the person that is the first one he sees after a 4-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
So
put it to the test.
Put it to the test.
Okay, next. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier about platonic versus romantic. And this is where, I feel like you might be a little more hesitant to try this. But I think if you do tastefully, it can really show how a girl feels about you. And that's like, because when you're friends with someone, I feel like a lot of people think that girls and guys can't be friends. Like it's always more than friends. And like, I mean, I don't think that's true. But I can see why, because either it's platonic, so like strictly platonic, or it's not. Right. And when you are friends with someone, it's platonic. But if you want to get out of the friend zone, you're going to have to start acting a little less platonic and start, adding a little spice to the friendship. And what we mean by that is like literally get physical. And like we said, don't grab her face and make out with her. No, we don't do that. We don't condone making a bold move like that, but it's like the little stolen moments. Like let your hand linger a little bit longer. Like if you guys are, taking a picture together, like put your hand on her back.
On the small of her back.
Yeah, on the lower back. And just be like playful and flirty with it. Like we don't want like a big drastic physical movement, because that's just gonna come out of it's gonna come out of left field. She's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like chill. But like it's the little things, because I feel
we've talked about this before though, like how girls actually get so into like those little moments. Like it's in our mind like so hot. Like if a guy's like holding your hand and like no one knows about it, or like he like lets his hand linger on the back of your arm for like 0.2 seconds longer than he should. Like those teeny little things.
Move her hair out of her face.
Yes. Like again, like not creepy. Like you're not being sketchy and all of a sudden like putting your hand on your thigh. Don't do that. Yeah, no, stop. Don't. Disengage immediately. But like nice, sweet little things that aren't creepy, like she is going to pick up on it. Yeah. And if you can do that confidently, that's like the key here, is like you're not like your hands not shaking and trembling like and being weird. Right. If you can confidently like make that eye contact, confidently, brush the hair out of her face, little things like that, she's going to start feeling like, wow, like this is such a man, and he can like do these things and feel confident. And if there is anything at all there, like any sort of like sparks that maybe haven't been realized yet, I feel like she's gonna pick up on it in that moment.
And I think the key word that you said is confidently, because women are very perceptive and they can tell. Like if you are second guessing whether or not you should do this, and like if you're being hesitant in that exact moment, like a girl's gonna pick up on that, and she's gonna think that like you being hesitant, like that's gonna make it weird and creepy, and she's gonna be like, oh, that's weird. But if you do it confidently, like she's gonna feel safe around you, and she's gonna be like, oh, okay, like this is nice. Or she's not gonna think it's nice, and it's not because you're being creepy, but it's just because she doesn't feel that way towards you.
Like if she's like, if you do something like that and she's just kind of like, oh, okay, then there's probably nothing there.
Body language is key. Like you have to like look at her body language and see how she's receiving it.
Yes.
Because that will ultimately show how she feels.
I think the biggest thing with this too is that you're not constantly doing these things every so often.
Remember the hot and cold.
Yes, because if all of a sudden you're constantly like putting your arm around her like 24/7,
she's gonna think that's like,
she's gonna think it's weird, or it might even be like even a little bit more friend zoney. Like you're doing it really, really like subtly every now and then. A lot of guys
leave her wanting more.
Yes, like a lot of guys who are in the friend zone, they're so scared of coming off as creepy and of ruining their relationship. They're probably not making eye contact with her at all. They're probably never touching her. They're keeping like 10 feet of distance at all times because they want to be like the gentleman. Just break that down a little bit and see if it works.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's the last one that we have?
Okay. The last one that we have, which I think is like really, really important, is detach yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And what we mean by that is don't let your whole world orbit around her.
Yes.
Because again, girls are very perceptive. Like they can tell if you're obsessing over them. And it's as much as like the end goal, like every girl wants their boyfriend to be obsessed with them. But when you're trying to get out of the friend zone and you're being an obsessive friend, again, it's weird, it's creepy.
And she can tell.
Yeah, and she can tell. So stop obsessing over her so much. You're gonna push her away by being needy and obsessive, but be the guy at the party that, you know, you're not constantly standing by her side. You're not laughing at every single thing that she says,
hanging on to every single word.
Yeah, like you're the guy that's bouncing around from person to person, from group to group at the party, like having a good time, laughing, like just living your life, doing your thing, and showing her that like you want to show that you're the alpha. Like you are, like she's
the life of the party.
Yeah, you're the life of the party, because girls are gonna be like, oh, like I want to be with him. Like he seems fun. He seems confident. He seems cool. Like
it's literally actually natural selection. Like a girl, like deep down inherently will be attracted to a guy that she thinks is like it sucks to say this, but is like someone that she would want to eventually get married to and reproduce with. So if she sees a guy that's like confident and walking around, he can make friends with anyone, he's funny, he's charismatic, like there's a part of her that's gonna be like, damn, I want to be with that guy. But if you're this guy sitting by her side all night like a puppy dog, like waiting for her to get, you know, rejected from the two guys she actually wants to see and just hoping that she'll come crawling back to you when it doesn't work out with anyone else, like she's not going to see you as the guy that she wants to be with. So
get a roster. And again, a little toxic, but like you need to distract yourself and detach yourself. Like you don't need to be like sleeping around and going on dates every single night of the week. But if you have other distractions in your life, whether it's other girls, like, you know, you're just living your life having fun. You know, again, like if you're doing that, you're creating a competition while also trying to detach yourself. Like she's going to, you know, pick up on that and see that you're acting a little bit different. And again, she's either going to care or she's not.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is so key too, because you like, it doesn't even have to be with other girls. Like you could literally be like at the party, like talking to other guys. And again, like if she has an issue with it, she'll make it known. And so if usually you guys, you know, go somewhere together and you're always sitting next to her, always laughing at her jokes, always hanging out with her friends. And all of a sudden, like this one night, you're kind of ignoring her a little bit and you're talking to the boys about fishing or golfing or whatever it is, the hell it is that you boys talk about. And if she comes up to you and she's like, hey, like, are you mad at me? Like, did something happen? You want to play it off. So no, why? Like, oh my God, no, I'm just having so much fun. No, why? Everything's fine.
Yes.
Like, what do you?
If a girl asks, are you mad at me? She cares. And there's hope to get out of the friend zone.
And if you can play it off, because the last thing you want to do is be like, yeah, I mean, I am a little, no. Like, oh my God, no, I'm just having so much fun. Like, I'm having so much fun. Why?
Yeah.
And you just play it off. That will drive her insane. Like, she will be like, wait, why doesn't he care about the fact that he doesn't talk to me or pay any attention to me all night? If she's used to being the center of your world and all of a sudden it's like she is just like everyone else,
another planet,
that will drive her insane. And maybe it'll get her towards realizing, damn, there's something here. And again, if she doesn't, then she likely doesn't care. But those are the tips that we have. And I think, you know, if you're listening to this and you are going to try some of these out and they work, so you create some more competition, you try to distance yourself, you do some of these things and it is working, like she's getting either jealous or she's getting a little bit more flirty, or it feels like there's like, you know, all of a sudden she's showing that interest, then I think at that point it might be time to make a move. And again, like you're not going to be creepy about it, but maybe, you know, gradually you can put yourself in a position where I think it's finally time to make a move. If she doesn't react to any of these things, then you need to let it go and talk to some other 3 with daddy issues somewhere.
Don't talk about me like that.
Sorry.
There's plenty of fish of the sea, but like we said, these aren't tips necessarily to get out of the friend zone. They're just tips to figure out if there's hope for you to get out of the friend zone and decide whether or not you should make the move.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
Tread lightly, okay? Do so carefully. Let us know if anything
Drink
works.
responsibly.
And if you do one of these tips and she calls you out on it, just blame it on drinks after
just
work.
be like, oh, I listened to this podcast and these two psychos. Like, I don't know what I was doing. Anyways, over, under. We haven't done this in a while.
I know. Let's get the people out of here. So let's do it quick because we keep skipping over under because we talk so much. But I miss it. I do miss it.
I've missed it.
I miss it.
I've missed
You're
you.
overrated this week. I'm sorry.
I'm always overrated. Okay. My overrated is jean shorts.
Jorts.
Daisy Dukes, as we call them down south.
There's so many kinds of jean shorts, though.
True. Okay, so here's the thing. A nice, tasteful, like maybe a little bit longer jean short, I'm okay with. I think they look good on other girls. I don't think they look good on me. I hate them. I've hated them my whole life, and I feel like in college, like I had to wear them. And now I just like I won't put up with it anymore.
I don't think I've put on a pair of jean shorts. I definitely wore them in like the summers of like high school and like maybe like early college years I'd wear them, but like
the low-rise
so
jean shorts were probably the worst thing ever invented.
I don't think I own any.
They were disgusting. They were like so like painted on like so tight and low rise and like
the
your ass crack
Abercrombie
would be
ones?
hanging out.
Did you have the Abercrombie
Yes,
jean shorts?
they were
Yeah.
not. If those ever come back in style, like I quit on fashion. I'm done because like everything else is coming back in, including low rise jeans. But low rise jean shorts, I will not stand for. I don't like them. They're uncomfortable. They don't feel good down there. You don't feel good. I never feel. I don't know. I just kind of feel a little trashy when I'm wearing them. Maybe that's just me. Before going to Nashville, I was like, all right, I have to buy a pair of jean shorts. And I was like texting my friends. And I was like,
you texted me. Let me get the screenshot. Let me pull it up because Shannen just about had a freaking meltdown in, where were you, Zara?
Zara. I was like, all right, I'm going to buy a pair. I'm going to do it. Like they do in the movies.
You text me, you go, ew, I hate jean shorts. Can you mark that down as an overrated for me? I just tried to buy some at Zara and legit couldn't do it. Like, I like myself too much. I cannot. I will not. I told myself I would for Nashville, but no. Would rather be trendy and not fit in. Those are words out of your mouth that you texted me. Spiraling at Zara.
Anyways.
Over jean shorts. How do you feel?
I feel personally victimized.
Well, we're gonna cancel jean shorts this week. Okay, underrated. I'm gonna stay on brand with drinks after work. Okay, I think. Hear me out. Do you shop at Trader Joe's?
Yes.
Really? Often?
I used to a lot more when I lived in Seaport because it was like right down the street.
There.
But yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, and it pisses me off that not every Trader Joe's has one. Figure it out, please. Like literally in the city of Boston, not everyone has one. I don't understand. But the wine selection at Trader Joe's, I think, is so underrated.
Yes.
They have like the most coolest bottles of wine that you can get, and they're so freaking cheap. Like my favorite red, I know it's really not red wine season anymore. It's rosé and Aperol Spritz season,
and white wine.
And white wine. Yeah. But so my favorite red wine from Trader Joe's is $5. It's a Pinot Noir. It's a 2016 California blend, and it's
beautiful.
Called Cherry Blossom. And she's $4.99.
That's amazing. No, you're not the first person that said that. I've actually never bought wine from Trader Joe's because I think the one that in Seaport, do they have wine there? I don't think so I don't think I've ever seen wine there because they probably don't have their alcohol license or whatever.
The Somerville one has a big, large.
I've heard people say that though, that they love it, but you're right. I think it's underrated. I don't think enough people don't shop at Trader Joe's for wine.
Yeah, I agree. I think they have a few like name brands, like you can buy like things that you like normally would find in a liquor store, but they have a lot of things that like I haven't seen before and you can only get there. And I think like this Cherry Blossom, like I don't know if they sell it in stores, but I wouldn't know if it weren't for Trader Joe's. I think it's underrated.
Thank you, TJ's.
Don't sleep on Trader Joe's wine. Okay?
Don't sleep on anything from Trader Joe's. There's literally YouTube accounts of girls who literally just review different things from Trader Joe's.
I know.
And they're so, I love them.
Me too.
Because it's just like so much.
I think I'm going to go to Trader Joe's tomorrow.
We stop there after this.
They're probably close. No, let's all right.
No, we're going to the Grand after this.
Yeah, we are. Okay. So thank you guys so much. You know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your mom to tell their mom to tell all of her friends to follow us.
Yes. If you guys like what you heard today, or if you didn't, please subscribe on Apple or wherever the hell you listen to us. Leave us a review. It doesn't have to be nice. It doesn't have to be mean. It can be mediocre. It can be whatever you want. You can just like put random words in there. We don't care. Leave some sort of a review. Rate us any amount of stars, starting at 2 up to 5, no less than 2. I'm like giving very specific instructions. Yeah. Take a right at the light, and then you're gonna go down the street.
Do not pass go without subscribing. Sip and Dip. We just released episode 8 at Alcove, so go check it out if you haven't already.
Oh yes, Alcove was amazing.
It
they
was
had really good
that
drinks.
is also underrated.
Yes.
And then tune in next week for Sip and Dip because it is at our most requested drink place. Lolita.
We had to wait a month for a reservation there.
Yeah, we did.
But thank you guys so much for listening to another week. We're going to go hit the Grand right now. We'll see you guys later. We love you, baddies. See you next time.
Bye.